Price of a Rose. Chapter 14. As fun as it is to dance with my brothers and Shane, I want the night to be over. Shane tugs on my hand while everyone soaks in Flint's lovely singing voice. Wordlessly, I follow him into the castle. We enter the foyer and head into the creepy hallway that leads to his bedroom. Because of the darkness, Shane shifts into a wispy red figure. We cautiously approach the enchanted rose, where one petal dangles by a fiber. I resist the urge to yank it off and be done with it. "We have only an hour left," he murmurs, his voice heavy with the weight of his decision. "I've been contemplating, and I believe you should stay on the other side of the barrier. I cannot bear the thought of you being trapped here forever. You have your family and friends. I've separated you from them before, but I do not intend to do so permanently." I scowl. "But what about you? What do you really want?" "I want you to be happy. And what if your happiness makes me happy, huh? We just got married and you want me to abandon you. Great, we're already having our first argument as a married couple. However, I need to shout at Shane because what he's saying infuriates me. Arabelle, I am happy. This is the happiest I've ever been. Yes, I want you to stay, but if the barrier closes and I'm left as a spirit, that isn't fair to you. Besides, we've been tied together for eternity, so I know whatever happens tonight won't be the end for us." I cross my arms and storm onto the balcony I once jumped off of. So what? I'll have to be a widow for the rest of my mortal life. Do you even know what will happen to you if the curse isn't broken? Or is this all speculation? Shane sighs and wraps his ghostly arms around me from behind. The embrace is cold instead of his usual warmth. Of course, it's speculation. Just promise you'll stay on the other side until we know the curse is broken. I'm not giving up hope. I'm just preparing for the worst outcome. "You sound like me," I mutter before clearing my throat. "All right, fine. I'll wait on the other side." As soon as I say that, the ground trembles. Shane and I whip our heads to the rose. The last petal shivers as it waits to fall off the stem. The tremble ceases, but I have no doubt more will follow. "Let's head back. They'll be wondering where we are," Shane says. When we return to the party, everyone is in an uproar and the lanterns have all gone out. Spirits are flying around, demanding to know when the curse will break. Most of the other guests have fled outside the castle grounds. My family alone waits for me. As another earthquake hits, Shane hands me over to Gil. "Get outside the castle grounds. We'll wait until we know the outcome." None of the spirits are pleased with our departure. They surround Shane, asking who is lying to the other. Is it Shane who doesn't love me, or am I the culprit? He keeps urging my family to leave, and once we are outside the immediate grounds, he briefly transforms into the demon beast. He lets out a roar, which silences the anxious spirits. I fall to the ground as yet another tremble unsteadies the dirt. Ahead, a castle turret falls, caving in on itself. Then I see it, the barrier. Glows a transparent red, and the red wolves race down it as it approaches the ground. I swallow, my eyes trailing down to Shane. With Gil's help, I stand back on my feet. I step forward a little, and so does Shane. Yet there is still so much space between us. My hands clench my dress in anger and frustration. I don't believe for a second the curse hasn't broken because we don't love each other, so what are we doing wrong? Then I remember my anger with him for suggesting I stand outside the barrier. What good is a marriage vow if you don't intend to keep it? I promised to cleave to him and no one else, which includes my family. He's supposed to be my top priority above my mother, brothers, and sisters. I feel in my heart that this is what the Creator has been waiting for. It has nothing to do with the last petal. I glance up at the barrier as the wolves charge at me. My hands lift my dress slightly off the ground before I dash forward. My family shouts my name, but they do not stop me. I wonder if my mother kept the boys from chasing me down. I can't say for sure because I keep my eyes ahead. Shane's eyebrows lift and his shoulders sag. I can tell he's not happy, but he is touched. Perhaps he thinks I won't make it. I lift my dress higher, cursing the train for slowly me down. Shane's expression grows darker. Arabelle. Don't. I rush through and keep running to Shane as the barrier closes. I squeeze my eyes shut and leap at him. My arms embrace nothing and my knees collapse to the ground. Tears slip through the cracks as I hug my chest. When I open my eyes, I see white, not the white of my dress but white on the ground. When I touch it, the surface feels like paper. I sit up and see everywhere I look is a creamy white. As I twist the other way, I spot an old woman sitting at the desk. Her back is to me and she's holding a quill, scribbling away in a silver book. I stand and adjust my dress, which should have been stained green from grass. Getting closer to the woman, I recognize her as the old woman I gave my rose to. When I blink, she changes into a girl a bit younger than me. No wonder people can't agree on what the creator looks like. She can be whatever she wants to be. She pauses her writing and sets the quill down. I'm glad this story will have a happy ending. Creator stands, and the desk and chair drop like ink on paper before they fade entirely. Her brown reaches her mid-back and is so much straighter than mine. Her dress is white but far simpler than what I wear. The skirt only reaches her knees, and the sleeves are cut off to the middle of her forearm. To top it off, she wears no shoes. She's not exactly what I expected. She notices my scrutiny and smiles while twirling in her dress. Just like you, I need breathable clothing for everyday activities. I really do like dresses, though. What happened to Shane? I ask, not caring to talk about clothing right now, even if I am curious. Creator bounces on her feet, her dress swinging with her movements. Time has slowed, but he's about to enjoy his freedom. He's earned it. Then why am I here? She smiles, because I need to be clear on something. So go ahead and ask me what you've been wondering. She's right. I have wanted an answer to a particular question related to Shane, but it seems strange that she brought me to another plane to answer it. There are so many horrible people in the world, so why curse Shane? Yes, he wasn't good, but I don't believe he was evil. For starters, Shane had a position of power. He let evil men prosper in his kingdom whether he knew it or not. But mostly it was because I knew he could change. I saw his interactions with you and knew it was possible. And what about Effa? Will it return? She shakes her head. I'm afraid not. People have moved on, and the territory is now in the hands of Derwin and Amishi. Shane is free to live whatever life he chooses. Thank you, Arabelle, for putting your doubts aside and trusting in your heart. Now go and enjoy the life you choose. Creator begins to fade away. More questions pop into my mind, so I reach out. Before I can touch her, the white backdrop around me flips and I land in Shane's arms, his warm arms. Questions die when I see his face in the dim starlight. Shane! I kiss him, coming in fast, and knock teeth with him. He forces me off and rubs his whites. Ow, don't do that! I ignore him, draping my arms down his neck to force him down to my height. I kiss him repeatedly before nestling my head just under his chin. It worked! You're free! There are cheers around us. I break away from Shane and peek behind him. The entire staff is human, and for the first time I get my first clear view of Fern and Ned. They have blonde hair, light skin tones, and warm hazel eyes. I run to them, giving them a long overdue hug. Fern pats my hair, and I'm pleased to hear her heart beating and feel the heat from her body. They are all free. Then the guests who fled the area flood it once more. They shout out staff members' names. I realize everyone's memories have been returned. I look back at my sisters, who are now marching towards Shane. Oh, Ned whispers. Looks like Shane's in for some trouble. I quickly return to Shane just as my sisters and the rest of my family meet up with him. I glance between Jenissa and Mia, wondering how they'll respond now that they remember everything. Jenissa jabs a finger at him. You played with all of our feelings. I knew this place seemed familiar. Jenissa, Mia, I really am sorry for my behavior. I used you to get to Arabelle, but I promise I've changed. She backs off and crosses her arms. Well, that much is obvious. You'd still be a demon otherwise. Mia smiles and tilts her head, looking at me. So does that mean you're a queen, Arabelle? The queen of Effa? I grasp Shane's arm and peer by at the demolished castle. No. Effa is long gone, and the Creator doesn't intend for us to restore it. Which means Shane can live his life as he chooses. I smile at him. Shane processes the information for a bit, and then a huge grin spreads on his face. He tugs me closer to him, taking hold of my waist. And I choose to live it with you. Danny scoffs and rolls his eyes. Newlyweds. So sickening. Sasha, who is currently on his arm, scowls at him. Danny laughs at her reaction and then points toward the village beyond the forest. Just go get your horses already. You deserve a nice long vacation. Gil steps forward, gripping Shane's shoulder. Just make sure you bring her back. Don't worry. I know how important family is to her. Besides, the castle grounds are still rightfully mine. There's a lot we can salvage from it. Gil taps his chin thoughtfully. I see the gears in his mind turning with ideas for expanding the family business. Before Gil asks Shane any questions, I snuggle further into Shane. Hey, let's get out of here, I whisper. There's a deep chuckle in Shane's chest, and he lifts me off my feet. All the women in my family gasp in awe as my dress hovers above the grass. I hold tightly to Shane as he carries me off. In the distance, I hear Fern and Ned and a chorus of staff members wish us farewell. I wave back at them as Shane continues to walk. Instead of heading into the forest, he turns to the beach. Hey, where are you going? I ask, poking his cheek. To the beach. I want to watch the sunrise. I see. I wiggle around. You can set me down now. Shane bounces me higher on his arms, causing me to squeal. He smirks and says resolutely, I don't plan to, beauty. You've chosen me, so now I won't let you go ever again. I relax and rest my head against him. At least he didn't sling me over his shoulder this time. Thinking about how our relationship started is strange, but I don't believe my past self would be surprised if I told her how it ends. Well, maybe not when I didn't have my memories. That version of me would refuse to hear it. When we can no longer hear the celebrating cheers from afar, he sits down on the sandy beach with me in his lap. We tangle our hands together and watch the waves coming in and out of the shore, listening to the calming breaths of the ocean. Silently, I arch my neck back, planning to kiss his cheek, but then he turns his head and bends down. I feel his lips press against mine, and I ruin it with a smile. Why, you greedy boy, I say. He throws his hands up. Hey, I only turned my head. You did the kissing. I'm completely innocent. I mean, I can't control your abnormal desire for a demon beast. That's all on you. We stare at each other for a while, debating who will burst out laughing first. It ends up being both of us. Laughing like fools, we continue until it hurts to laugh or even smile. Never has any joke made me this happy. Finally, we calm down and Shane asks me, so we agree we're no longer Beauty and the Beast, right? I lean against him, staring at the waves. I thought that would be obvious, dear husband.